It's 8 p.m. in Banjul. This is the news. First, the headlines. President, His Excellency Adama Barrow and the First Lady attend various events on the sidelines of the UNGA summit. Vice President Aja Fatoumata Jallow Tambajang presides over the award ceremony of the Global Prosperity and Peace Initiative Gambia chapter. Egypt and the United States embark on a joint military exercise, the first in 8 years. Authorities in Tanzania roll out an ambitious aerial census to count the country's dwindling elephant population. These and many more coming ahead in this half hour. I am Umudin Jai. The President of the Republic, His Excellency Adama Barrow, has said that the Gambia will strive to promote its engagements with the rest of the world. President Barrow was speaking in his maiden United Nations General Assembly speech. Meanwhile, the First Lady, Madam Fatoumata Barrow, also took part in a series of high-level events on the sidelines of the UNGA summit. Mamadou Jallow brings us the latest from New York.
World leaders converged at the UN headquarters in New York for the opening ceremony of the 72nd United Nations General Assembly. For some, like the veteran Liberian leader Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, it is the last time she addresses the world body. But for others, such as US President Donald Trump and Gambian leader Adama Barrow, it is their first appearance at such an important event. Therefore, President Barrow's address was being followed keenly by audiences at home and in New York, where they have become familiar with the ravings and rantings of former President Jammeh. But the President, as always, was measured and composed in his tone, outlining key national and global challenges that need to be addressed for sustainable peace and development. Contributing to the debates, President Barrow emphasized the need for preventive diplomacy as experienced in the Gambia, noting the positive impact of solidarity among stakeholders in the realization of peace and in the pursuit of democracy, promotion of human rights, and respect for the rule of law. The President spoke of the socio-economic challenges confronting the Gambia, which have forced young people to embark on perilous journeys through deserts and seas in the hope of a better life in Europe, with many falling victims to exploitation and radicalization. Mr. Barrow also recognized the critical role of the diaspora community in ushering change in the Gambia at a time when the country was on the brink of socio-political and economic collapse. On foreign policy, the statement acknowledged the enormous contributions of ECOWAS, regional and international organizations and institutions in bringing peace to the Gambia. The President said the Gambia promotes good and friendly neighborliness and takes a win-win approach in its relations with nations of the world. President Barrow reaffirmed the Gambia's commitment and support to the One China policy, effectively reversing former President Jammeh's stance, which he promoted at the UN for close to 2 decades. On reforms of the world body, Mr. Barrow expressed support to ongoing efforts to make the UN more responsive, but however stressed the need for urgent Security Council reforms, which gives Africa its rightful representation.
Former Secretary General Kofi Annan once said that no reform of the United Nations is complete without the reform of the Security Council. That remains true today. Africa will not give up its legitimate and historic quest for the representation on the Council, and the Gambia fully supports the African Union's demand for a long overdue reform of the Security Council.
As part of his engagements, President Barrow held a tete-a-tete with President Teodoro Obiang Nguema of Equatorial Guinea, who is hosting former President Jammeh, and also met Turkey's President Recep Tayyip Erdogan on the sidelines of the UN General Assembly. He also attended a luncheon hosted by the UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres. On the sidelines of the UN General Assembly, First Lady Her Excellency Fatoumata Barrow Monday attended a high-level meeting on the theme, looking forward to a future without cancers, implementation of medicines, diagnostics, and treatment. In her statement delivered at the meeting, Madam Barrow said cancers are emerging as a huge burden for developing countries, and our foundation will continue to support the control and preventive measures put in by the Ministry of Health.
The government of the Gambia therefore wishes to reach out to its sister countries and partners, including private sectors, to form common processes and prevention, early diagnosis, treatment and care for cancer.
Speaking at the high-level meeting of African First Ladies on the theme, Ending AIDS by 2030, she said that her office would advocate for expansion of services to rural areas. Mamadou Diallo, GRTS News.
Meanwhile, His Excellency Adama Barrow made history by being the first Gambian president to sign 5 United Nations treaties at once, while attending the 72nd United Nations General Assembly. The signed treaties are the abolition of the death penalty as part of the second optional protocol to the International Convention on Civil and Political Rights, International Convention on the Protection of the Rights of All Migrant Workers and Members of their Families, the International Convention for the Protection of All Persons from Enforced Disappearances, the United Nations Convention on Transparency in Treaty-Based Investor-State Arbitration, and the Treaty on the Prohibition of Nuclear Weapons. A media release from the Director of Press at the Office of the President states that the signing of the treaties reaffirms the new Gambia's strive to promote democracy and show the commitment of the state to protect lives of political activists. It added that the move will remove fear and promote rule of law for citizens to express their civil and political rights. The signing is a commitment of member states of the United Nations to prohibit execution and totally abolish the death penalty. The Gambia is one of the countries with high migration rate, but also receives immigrants from other African countries, thus the importance of protecting the dignity of all migrants. It agrees to protect the human rights of migrant workers and families. Citizens have been subjected to forced disappearance. It is commendable for the Gambia to agree to prevent forced disappearance defined in international law not only at home but throughout the UN member states. Setting international rules for investor-state arbitration is strategic, as the world is increasingly dependent on investment for development of communities. Consent to apply the sets of rules on transparency in treaty-based investor-state arbitration will provide a mechanism for recording such agreement and shall come into force as of 18th October this year. It intends to minimize criminal acts and economic exploitation. The Gambia also intends to prevent mass destruction of human life and property to promote peaceful coexistence in the world. The signing of the Treaty on the Prohibition of Nuclear Weapons, or the Nuclear Weapon Ban Treaty, will strengthen that commitment. The Gambia will now work to move from signing to ratification and domestication of the signed treaties to make them effectively in the country. Meanwhile, in separate engagements, President Barrow continued to hold meetings and network with his colleagues and business leaders. Wednesday morning, along with other invited heads of states, attending business meeting with Bloomberg at the Plaza Hotel in New York. President Barrow held a private meeting with the Prime Minister of Belgium and shook hands with many of his fellow heads of states attending the UNGA. In the afternoon, President Barrow met International Criminal Court ICC Chief Prosecutor Fatou Bensouda and team for a briefing on the organization's work. She called for support from African countries to understand the Rome Statutes. Madam Bensouda welcomed the Gambia's reversal of its withdrawal from the ICC, which she said was not effective due to the time required for it to come into effect. On the sidelines of the UNGA, the Gambian leader attended the African Union meeting held at the Economic and Social Council hall at the UN. The theme, Global Partnership Towards Harnessing the Demographic Dividend in Africa, focused on education and skills development, employment and empowerment of the youth. He was accompanied by the Minister of Foreign Affairs. The President also met several delegates, potential investors and philanthropists who expressed interest to explore the potentials the Gambia offers. Ms. Aissatou Diallo, a Gambian lawyer fighting for the rights of disabled people, also presented her work to President Barrow. She volunteered to contribute to the review of the bill on people with disabilities and expressed her interest to support the education of children with disabilities. Justice Minister Abubakar Tambidu informed Ms. Diallo that proposed bill would be tabled at the National Assembly for enactment. The Minister of Foreign Affairs, Usainu Dabo, and Ambassador Momodou Tangara attended the meeting. In her engagements at the United Nations, the First Lady Fatoumata Bahbaro attended a luncheon and reception held in honor of First Ladies attending the UNGA, hosted by America's First Lady, Mrs. Melania Trump, and the spouse of the Canadian Prime Minister, Ms. Sophie Gregory Trudeau, respectively. As part of activities marking the 2017 International Peace Day, Her Excellency the Vice President Aja Fatoumata Jallow Tambajang has presided over the award ceremony of the Global Prosperity and Peace Initiative Gambia chapter at the National Assembly Meeting Hall. Key amongst the award recipients was former President Sir Dawda Kairaba Jawara, sub-regional leaders and deserving supporters of New Gambia. GRTS's Babukar Kamara has details in this report.
The Vice President's arrival at the event is a symbolic recognition of the new democratic dispensation that was fought with commitment and sweat. One such moment to reflect on this hard-earned freedom is the effort of the Global Prosperity and Peace Initiative Gambia chapter.
The Global Prosperity and Peace Initiative was launched at the magnificent Second World Parliament on Spirituality on November 17, 2016 in Salt Lake City, Utah, USA. It is a right-based international organization which strives to eliminate poverty and violent conflict and bring about lasting peace and sustainable development.
International Peace Day 2017 has been marked in the Gambia as a day of award to deserving people who had shown their dedication to a regime change in the Gambia, following the December 2016 presidential polls.
We therefore very happy on this occasion to congratulate all the Gambians for the way and manner in which they conduct themselves in a very peaceful way to carry out a successful presidential election in this country and to free Gambian people from dictatorship.
In the categories of awards was former President Sir Dawda Kairaba Jawara and President Adama Barrow, whose award was received by Vice President Tambajang. Other regional ECOWAS Leaders Awards was that of President Macky Sall of Senegal and regional institutions.
Mr. Alhaji Aliou Momar Njai.
The climax of the occasion was a citation on the IEC chairman, whose role was considered as a pillar towards Gambia's newfound freedom.
There are many Gambians, but there are few resolute Gambians. And you are one amongst many who have decided to put your life on the line for the people we love, care for, and cater for.
Babukar Kamara, GRTS.
In a series of engagements at the Commission of Inquiry, the former governors of NBR and LRR, former Secretary General Mamburi Njai, and the Managing Director of Guaranteed Trust Bank were among others who gave testimonies Thursday morning. Ndaikumba Demba has more.
First to appear before the Commission of Inquiry was Yankuba Koli, a soldier and former athlete to General Saul Baji. Koli was questioned on a transaction between General Baji and the Central Bank.
When I went to the governor's office, yes, I told him I am sent by General Baji to come and receive money. He brought this document that you are going to sign that you are the guy who came to collect the money. Are you with an ID card? I said yes. He said, can you give me your ID card? And I gave him the ID card, the governor himself. Then he gave me this document to sign. And he told me that we're supposed to give you 11,300 pounds. But there is no pounds in the central bank. But I have spoke with General Baji already. Now I'm going to pay you in dollars so that you can take it to him. I said, okay. And he told me the amount is going to be $698,905.
The former governor of North Bank Region, Lamin S.I. Jame, and the former governor of Lower River Region, Salif Boy, were both questioned about a sum of $600,000 they had received during their tenure in office.
I remember having received $600,000, although the specific dates I cannot remember, but probably because it was the only $600,000 ever I had, I can remember for what it was meant. It was meant for me to purchase animals and provide meat on sale for the people of the region who could have accessed it for the month of Ramadan that particular year.
They called me from State House, Sana and Noah Toure, they were responsible, that we should receive 600,000 and help the people so that they can have meat during the course of the Ramadan.
Mamborin Jai, who has held various cabinet positions under the former regime, including Minister of Finance and Economic Affairs, was questioned on 2 accounts he is signatory to with the Guarantee Trust Bank.
It was brought to our attention by the Office of the President in particular, that we are about to receive a grant from Qatar to help purchase the...
From the Kingdom of Qatar?
From the Kingdom of Qatar to purchase an aircraft. This grant must be, the Finance Ministry must be a signatory to the account. And I did not have any objection. The only thing that I stated was the account opening procedure is that it has to go through the Director of Treasury, and the Secretary General by then also agreed that it has to go through the Director of Treasury.
Nuha Williams Jame, former commander military police, was reported to have transported huge sums of money from the central bank to State House, which he said was under the instruction of General Baji.
I'm sure you will realize that you alone carried from central bank to General Baji about $250 million. Now that's a lot of money.
Whenever I collect the money, I take it to his office. And the deal is over as far as my part is concerned.
Jame was further questioned on the appropriateness of transporting such amounts to State House. For his part, Jame said he thought the money was for national development. The managing director of Guarantee Trust Bank, Emmanuel Bolaji, made clarifications on the opening of 2 accounts. He is expected to return to the Commission with the relevant documentation. For GRTS News, I am Deku Mademba.
A solid parliamentary partnership between the United Kingdom and Gambian lawmakers is the new course of restoring relations that was strained under former President Jammeh. As Seni Marina reports, the first legislative union connecting the Gambia and the UK is unprecedented as British parliamentarians trained Gambian lawmakers in governmental matters.
The new UK ambassador to Gambia, Sharon Waddell, and a visiting British lawmaker, James Durridge, who is leading a team of UK lawmakers currently in Banjul, have vowed to strengthen the friendly ties between Banjul and London. Speaking at a news conference in Bakau on Wednesday, James said their task is to support the Gambia's new MPs in improving and strengthening their partnership as well as holding their government accountable.
And the purpose of our visit here in the Gambia is to assist your new members of the National Assembly in their task of improving and strengthening their parliament. And we're here for 4 days. So far we've been here for 3 days, working with Assembly members on a wide range of issues, strengthening the legislature, the committee system, how parliamentarians behave, because we're very conscious that following the troubles here, that the Parliament is new and looking forward and wanting to develop and strengthen its capabilities to hold the executive to account.
The chief UK envoy, Madam Waddell, said Britain looked forward to a strong relationship with the Gambia.
A large part of my role here in the Gambia is about extending the hand of friendship to the Gambia and strengthening the ties of friendship between our 2 countries. So for me, the chance to have the delegation from the UK Parliament, the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association of the UK and Westminster Foundation Democracy is a really strong example of that friendship, forging ties, sharing best practice and learning from each other over the past couple of days.
The Gambia's long-standing cordial relation with UK was disrupted when the former president regime withdrew the Gambia's membership from the Commonwealth in October 2013. However, the new ambassador and visiting lawmakers promised the relationship will be normalized with the current democratic reality in the Gambia. Reporting for GRTS News, I am Seni MK Marina.
Standard Chartered Bank today convened a capacity-building forum for government institutions on capital and financial markets. The training held in Bakau is expected to boost the bank's partnership with government to develop the finance sector. Fatoumata Chamjame reports.
The Capacity Building Forum is meant to initiate a long-term engagement plan between government and finance stakeholders to institute and strengthen fundraising from international markets and extend investment in local currency. Olukorede Adenowo, Chief Executive Officer of Standard Chartered Bank, expressed his bank's resolve to support the Gambia's financial reforms agenda.
Standard Chartered Bank, we believe in sustainable business. We believe that we can deliver broadly on 3 positive outcomes: contributing to the real economy and promoting sustainable finance and leading the way in our economies. We're here for good, and we will continue to be a responsible investor in the Gambia, assisting in advisory access to capital and support in infrastructure and the investment plan.
The development of capital and financial markets is said to be an important component to any economy, as it helps in ensuring greater assembling of domestic savings, better risk sharing, and mobilization of foreign capital. The Minister of Finance and Economic Affairs, Amadou Sane, stressed the need for government to attract high-level investment.
Many partners have reduced their contributions to development assistance, and flows and overseas development assistance have also been limited in some areas. And now it is a challenge for the government and the people of the Gambia that we need to develop our financial institutions, our finance industry, to a level where we should be able to access international markets.
Minister Sane explained that government must usher in more innovative ways of financing long-term infrastructural projects. Deputy Governor 2 of the Central Bank of the Gambia, S.R.A.K. Drame, hailed the timing of the event, given the country's current financial situation.
The workshop cannot come at a better time. At a time when Gambia is changing, New Gambia, we are facing changes in our financial sector. Investors are coming, and the bank is engaging in transformation of our financial system.
According to Finance Minister Sane, the Gambia has set up a task force looking into policy options and the feasibility of establishing capital markets. He added that efforts are underway to create a legal framework to support this initiative. Reporting for GRTS News, I am Fatoumata Chamjame.
Reliance Financial Services has handed over furniture, TV and satellite receivers to 4 police stations in the country. The event was held at the Reliance head office along the Kerba Avenue. Seydou Kamara was there and he now reports.
This is the second edition of cash loan delivered to this women group by Women's Entrepreneurship Development Agency WEDA in Sinchu Alayi. Intended to support women in business, WEDA seeks to improve domestic livelihoods and even better enhance the incomes of women entrepreneurs. Supersonic has become a household name in this country where women come together to venture in business. That initiative relies on donors like WEDA and Supersonic to attain greater success. The secretary of the Women's Business Group, Aisaduba, highlighted the many ways their lives have been uplifted by the scheme.
So this project, they are bringing the money to loan us so that we can do our business. If we do our business, we come and return the money and we have our benefits.
Supersonic Sales and Marketing Officer Abdullah Ndao acknowledged the efforts and commitment of the women CAFO, who were able to convince the credit company to become partners in business by fully repaying their first loan.
The first disbursement was about 265,000. We gave it to them, that was a month ago. It was yesterday that we came back for the repayment, and which was really impressive because we collected 100%. It means no one default in the first repayment. which has also given us some energy to work with them more.
WEDA has been involved in a range of activities, such as training women groups in different business and occupational skills that are accompanied by this loan and other monetary enhancements to support and ensure that business startups bring success for communities to sustain their own livelihoods. Seydou Camara, GRTS News.
We apologize for bringing you that wrong report. And back to that same report, Reliance Financial Services has handed over furniture, TV and satellite receivers to 4 police stations in the country. The event was held at the Reliance head office along the Keraba Avenue. Janke Toure was there and she now reports.
The donation was in recognition of the efforts of the police in providing valuable services to the community and the country at large. The head of Retail Finance and Corporate Affairs, Mustafa John, hoped the materials will enhance the police capacity in protecting life and property.
We definitely recognize that the government of the Gambia is doing the best that they can, but it's very difficult to be able to meet everything. So for institutions like ourselves, we appreciate the fact that the police are doing the best they can to protect us and our families and our communities.
The beneficiaries thank Reliance for the support and assured that the items will be put into good use.
On behalf of the Inspector General of Police and my officer commanding Bara Division, the Commissioner, and all staffs of Bara, we are very much happy to receive this donation from Reliance.
We're thanking you for the gesture of giving us this television set for the Brikama police station.
This television will serve a long way and it will boost the morale of my officers during their off-duties. That will keep them within the station.
On behalf of the Inspector General of Police and the senior management of the Gambia Police Force, I wish to express our sincere appreciation in cognizance of your philanthropic gesture by donating us a computer, printer, filing cabin, furniture, TV set, and so on and so on. These items will certainly enhance our day-to-day running of prosecution office, as it will serve as a backup to our effectively carrying out our duties and responsibilities.
The Chief Executive Officer, Reliance Financial Services, Babukar Khan, highlighted the role of the police in maintaining peace.
We as Gambians, we as indigenous businesses know that the relationship between us and the law enforcement authorities should be much more deeper than that. It should be a partnership of mutual benefits. It is very common that when you visit most private companies and institutions, you will find and take certain amenities for granted.
The donation went to Sarakunda, Sibanor, Brikamaba, and Bara police stations. Reporting for GRTS News, I am Janketure.
We now take our first break. Sports news is up next.
EcoBank now introduces a convenient and trusted way to pay for products and services using the EcoBank MasterPass QR on your EcoBank mobile app. Just tap on the menu, select Pay Merchant to scan the QR code. Enter the amount to pay followed by your PIN. The merchant receives a confirmation of your payment and you're done. Experience the ease of making payments anywhere at any time with the EcoBank MasterPass QR on your EcoBank mobile app. Download the EcoBank mobile app from the Google Play Store or the Apple Store today. For more information, visit your nearest EcoBank branch. Terms and conditions apply. EcoBank.